recording. What's up, my dudes? Alright, Johnny, I've been waiting to ask you this since we blew those guys up, but I didn't know if I was supposed to be mad or happy, so I was waiting to see what your mom's reaction to Venezuela getting exploded was. Yeah, isn't your mom from there? Oh, well, I'll ask you again in a couple weeks. All right. Well, let's get into these charts then. BTC is playing out the Q1 rally I was talking about. I've been talking about for the last couple of months. We're sweeping up this liquidity to 95K, 98K, and then 103. Clean this chart up for you guys here so you can see that a little more clearly. This is not bullish. All right, these are liquidity gaps. Think of it as there's so much bullish news too. I was honestly thinking that just because of the reaction from this, essentially a vassalization of a country, that's kind of bullish in my view. Like, American expansion is pretty bullish from what I would assume. But only time will tell if that means any actual changes to the Bitcoin liquidity cycle. At the moment, I'm just going to try to do my best to ignore that news and any of this bullish thought ideology that I'm convincing myself of, and just stay on the charts and just look at this and what is this telling me, because this has not changed at all. This has been saying the same thing for the last month, that we're completely repeating this 2022 Q1 pump, and the cycle's over, and they're gonna reel in a bunch of people and we're gonna nuke. These massive legs down, they don't happen one at a time. They always have three legs. Typically it's actually five if you look at an Elliott wave style, but two of them are reversions, so it's boring stuff. But we're going down for 30-40% like this two more times. The when of it all, I the day before, the day of will be really easy to tell. So that's why I'm saying we're going to sweep up these levels at 95 and 103K. Obviously, the indicators are bullish. I posted this the other day on Twitter, talking about this same. It's a divergence too. The same bullish move. I think it'll be a lot smaller than a lot of these people are calling on Twitter. Everyone is on here calling for a new high, or I'm seeing calls for 200K, 300K, and those people are retarded. They're gonna get completely waxed. So looking forward to seeing that. The real players are going to really shine over the next 6 to 9 months for sure. So that'll be fun to see. I'll get a little bit of bragging rights because I got to record it all. Let's move down to Ethereum. What does that mean for ETH? ETH is a little bit trickier of a chart because on ETH, that same move. I'll say this. So we just blew up Venezuela because they have the largest oil reserves in the world, and since Ethereum's inception, people have been calling it digital oil, and I don't see anybody blowing up any countries for Ethereum. So, uh, there's a real world use case of it. If you were to, start putting everything on the blockchain, like we start voting via blockchain, we start scanning barcodes when you go into Costco via blockchain, stuff like that can happen. It takes a lot of work and it's not really all that necessary. I don't think Ethereum's figured out the gas fee problem as much as they would say they have. There's also a lot of competition. I think Solana's better. Ethereum was the first one to come out, and it changed the world for sure with its advent of its ecosystem. But the Ethereum Foundation is sketchy. I don't love them at all. They like to sell and manipulate price a lot. And it could for on a long enough time frame, it's probably gonna do pretty well, like, and just have a natural positive drift as like the S&P 500 has had. But I'm not nearly as, like, I would say that for anything. Like, I would say that for Build-A-Bear Workshop. So I'm not gonna sit here and tell you it's going to zero. I'm not necessarily bearish on it, but there's definitely way better opportunities than this like highly manipulated Ponzi coin for sure. It also doesn't have like a capped supply like Bitcoin does. Like, Bitcoin is just like the cleanest form of money from a mathematical standpoint that there is, and then like people will invest into ETH because they're thinking about Bitcoin, and it's just a completely different thing. So it's like investing in it's like investing in Target because you're bullish on tech stocks, or investing in Walmart because you're bullish on tech stocks. Like, I don't think it has the massive like tech innovation that a lot of people are saying it does. So is it a scam? No. Is it the greatest invention of our lifetime? Also no. That theory, that whole everything I'm talking about there sort of applies to all these altcoins too. Where I'm saying, I believe I talked about this on a previous video where I said Chainlink was going to chop around until 2029, 2030. And that's why I say, like, on a long enough time frame, Ethereum can see some pretty crazy numbers and get a bid on some positive drift from the money printer. But that can take many, many years, and every single year there is a ton of opportunities. Like, Build-A-Bear Workshop went up like 500% in 2024, and ETH was flat. Like, there's just like so many opportunities out there, and people get hyper focused on these big names for no reason, because they think they hold value when they they are valuable, but only in certain periods of time. Let's look at this at the stock market. Nasdaq is gapping up after some bullish news of American expansion, because who doesn't want more Starbucks and Targets in their neighborhood? Technically, we're still in this ascending triangle of chopness, which we can sit in for the next 3 months. So I'm definitely still cautious. I'm not sending any like major bids here. But I would stay on the side of longs and calls for the foreseeable future and see how this Venezuela thing plays out. Trump says we're going to take over the country that is the largest oil reserve on the planet. That disrupts a lot of global traffic for sure, and it would all be doing business on the dollar, so that affects DXY. And there's like so many variables that come into play, and then Donald Trump is the president. Like, it's just it's nutty. Super nutty. A lot of weird stuff is about to happen for show. At the moment, VIX is down, trending down. So if you take away all of this stuff that's going on, I would say price is going up on the major indexes. Trending up. The S&P 500 has this same ascending triangle, but it's more trending to the upside, which would imply that we see, some sort of sharp downward move. NASDAQ doesn't necessarily tell the same story. Elon's been posting a lot about these robots, and there's multiple divergences here. There's a hidden bullish divergence, and then there's also a bearish divergence, which is already played out. So this support here at 430, earlier this summer I was saying Tesla can go to 1K, and during the Trump admin, it's very unlikely that Tesla's just going to start crashing, So we could fully bounce off of here, put in a bottom around 430, above 400, and keep trending towards that 1K level. I don't see any reason why that would stop. Elon's been posting a lot about those robots, and they look pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, they do look pretty cool. So, kind of bullish on those guys. Oracle. This is bullish. Oracle is very bullish. This is free money. This is a free 50% gain in a year, right here. You could throw your entire net worth into Oracle right now on January 4th and get your 50% your money at least by the end of the year. So very confident on that. It probably goes higher than this 350 level. So, oh my god, I've been talking for a long time. We're at 13 minutes. I could talk about this stuff forever, dude. So, we've only gone over like 3 stocks. But yeah, Oracle's going up. So, throw your money in tech and Bitcoin. Keep it simple. Ciao. Okay, fine. I'll check out NVIDIA real quick. What's that? Oh yeah, they did. They did do that. All right, that's a good talking point. It's a really good talking point, actually. The entire world wants NVIDIA's chips, right? So this is basic high school economics, talking about supply and demand. They have there's way more demand than supply, so they need to raise prices. Bullish. People are gonna buy their stuff regardless. They have the best chips in the world. They're supplying to both China and the United States. Like, very bullish. There's like this weird. Yeah, they also would be building the chips for the robotics that Tesla's working on. Rivian, Amazon is talking about a robotics company, and NVIDIA would be supplying the chips for all of that at, double the price now, like you were saying. So, yeah, bullish on that for sure. Nvidia could just go to $1,000 again and then get another stock split. I think a lot of these, like Tesla, Oracle, Nvidia, like we're just gonna get a big juice in 2026. Sort of justified taking over the world by making everybody rich a little bit, and then just get some stock splits to make the numbers look prettier. Business as usual. Faux real, drop a follow. Thank you. Peace.